What's up, football fans? I'm Youth One National Scouting Director and Football Editor Al Pops, here with my West Coast man, Ryan Lance. This week at Youth One, we're breaking down the FBU National Championship. It's the biggest party in youth football. We're here to preview all 64 teams and the top players in each region with the best chance of making an impact in the tournament. Today, we're taking a look at the West region, which is broken down into 4 regional sites: Seattle, Reno, Orange County, and San Diego. Let's start with the teams in the Seattle bracket. First up, we've got the team from Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho. There was no 7th grade team last year, so this will be the first time these kids will be competing for an FBU National Championship on the 8th grade level. As always, there's a number of players to look out for on this team. Peyton Cox, a 5'8", 165-pound running back and linebacker. Jonah Robertson, a 5'10", 165-pound running back and linebacker. On the line, look for Hayden Emerson out of Standpoint, Idaho. Lastly, 2 more players, Andrew and Brendan Bertone. They're twins out of Spokane, Washington. Those are the studs to look out for on the Eastern Washington and Northern Idaho team. Ryan, why don't you tell us about the host team, Team Seattle?
Team Seattle returns to this year's event after falling just short in last year's event as they lost in a Final Four. Led by head coach Robert Mason, Team Seattle is loaded with talent and is led by Elite 101 members Dylan Morris and Taylor Goins. Morris is a quarterback with a big arm who is cool in the pocket and a proven winner. He was ranked number 57 on the Elite 101. Goins is a 6', 240-pound defensive tackle who is ranked on the Elite 101 as the number 93 prospect in the class of 2019. He's a big disruptor and a great pass rusher. He's also a 2-time East Bay Youth All-American. Protecting Morris up front will be 6'1", 260-pound offensive lineman William Vega, who has elite feet and is very strong and fundamentally sound. Joining Vega will be 6', 207-pound Max Beringer, who has great technique and blocking ability. Morris will also have a pair of wide receivers to utilize during the event, as 5'8" Cole Miller is a new addition to this year's team after missing last year's event with a foot injury. Another receiver to keep an eye on is Solomon Bang. He's 5'11", 179 pounds, and has great speed and ability to gain yards after the catch. Bang was a staple on last year's 7th grade team as he scored 2 touchdowns in his semifinal game. On the defense side of the ball, Luke Riojas is a 5'11", 179-pound middle linebacker who has great closing speed and is above average tackler. 2 other playmakers include 5'11", 178-pound running back Aaron Olmos and 6'3", 175-pound tight end Hunter Hansen. Other players to keep an eye on include Michael Zahara, who's an outside linebacker, Zach Sanadad, who's a defensive back, Jaden Toussaint, who's a running back, and linebacker Dylan Tupola.
The second matchup at the Seattle Regional site will feature Columbian Basin, Washington, taking on Team Oregon. Columbian Basin is another team with no 7th grade team last year, so they'll be competing for their first FBU National Championship. Led by head coach Jorge Sanchez, Columbian Basin has a number of standout players. Leading off, Cody Sanderson. He could be the best player in the whole regional bracket, according to the coaching staff of the Columbian Basin team. He's 6', 160 pounds. He's a weapon that plays running back and wide receiver, and he's also a shutdown corner on defense. He'll be the team's top playmaker come tournament time. Sanderson will likely be the top target for quarterback Will Weinman. Weinman is a lefty quarterback who reminds a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest of ex-Boise State quarterback Kellen Moore. He's a pocket passer with great mechanics. Leading the way on the line will be offensive and defensive lineman Cesar Salas. He plays the game with violent hands and a non-stop motor. Another player that might be joining them on the offensive line is Connor Milliken, an offensive lineman who started as a 7th grader for the Tri-City Elite travel football team. That's all for Columbian Basin. Ryan, why don't you tell us about Team Oregon?
Team Oregon is led by head coach Brett Sims. Team Oregon will be led by a trio of playmakers that include JoJo Cifelli, Colin Bracken, and Blake Sims. Cifelli is a dynamic skill guy who will play both running back and cornerback. Bracken is a versatile wide receiver and running back who is a great all-around athlete. He's very quick in open space and has the ability to make guys miss. He's a threat anytime he touches the ball. Blake Sims is another athletic guy who will play running back, wide receiver, and cornerback. He's a dynamic player who can play anywhere and will be used as one of Oregon's top playmakers. Leading the way on the line will be tight end Riley Noah, who is a power guy, and Cade Hustler, who is one of the team's best blockers up front.
Now let's move on to the Reno regional site, where Team Utah will take on the Bay Area.
Here comes the crossing, we're heading through it. It's what we do, and here's how we do it. You've made, I like it out back down a red dirt road. You've made.
For Team Utah, they'll be led by Coach Jeremy Hill. Last year, they shut out their first 2 opponents before losing to Seattle in round 3. This year, they'll be led by Jake Sharver. He's an athletic kid who could be a better baseball player than football player if he chooses so. He's got decent size at 5'7", 150, but he's a strong back who moves around very well and is a returner from last year's team. Another playmaker on the offensive side of the ball is Tyler Arrington. He'll play wide receiver and will also play defensive back. He runs great routes and has exceptional hands as an 8th grader. On the line, they'll be led by Nick Childs. He was a standout at FBU Top Gun last July. 6'2", 235 pounds, great pass blocker and a solid run blocker with fantastic feet. Other players to look out for. Ace Feliz on the defensive line. He is a bull in a china shop. He can make a lot of plays on the interior defensive line. Joining Ace Feliz as a defensive standout will be Colby Freeman, an outside linebacker with great size and great range. Offensively, one more player to watch for Team Utah will be Ma'a Awelua Notoa. He's a player that can run inside and outside. He's extremely strong. Look for him to also play linebacker for him to flex those muscles, flex that strength, and that speed. Very talented player for Team Utah. Ryan, talk to us about the Bay Area, please.
After making it to round 2 last year, Team Bay Area will be led by running back George King and wide receiver Gillis Jackson. King is a running back who has great speed and footwork and does very well in the open space. Jackson is another burner who runs great routes and is a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. He's got great hands and yard after the catch ability. On the defense side of the ball, the team will be led by Elite 101 linebacker Josiah Wilson, who is also a 2-time East Bay Youth All-American. He's a player with a high football IQ who has a knack for finding the football and has great lateral movement. The final player to keep an eye on is Hezekiah Thomas.
The second matchup in the Reno regional site features the host team Reno taking on Sacramento. For Team Reno, they lost last year 30-0 in round 1, and hopefully this year head coach Derek Bennett has them ready to play. For Reno, first player to look out for is Caden Bennett, a quarterback and safety who was a Top Gun attendee this past July. Another talented player will be Luke Jakazik, a quarterback and outside linebacker. He was the MVP of his FBU regional camp and then went on to Top Gun, where he shined as well. 2 other players to look out for Reno: Joseph Nada, wide receiver, outside linebacker, and DJ Jackson at running back and cornerback. Ryan, talk to us about what Sacramento is bringing to the field this year.
Leading Team Sacramento will be Gary Johnson. The players that will lead Team Sacramento this year includes East Bay All-American Evan Bennett, who is a 6'1", 215-pound offensive and defensive lineman out of Folsom Junior Bulldog program, and he will certainly be a help to solidify any position in the trenches. Along with Evan in the trenches is Nicholas Garcia, who is a 5'10", 235-pound lineman that's been dominant at either offensive or defensive tackle. He's an all-star selection for the Sheldon Junior Huskies program. Elijah Schwanger is a linebacker tight end out of the Elk Grove Junior Herd program that opened eyes with his versatility and aggressiveness and downhill tackling in last year's 7th grade tournament. Finally, Tyler McCaskill is a 170-pound running back fullback that proved hard to bring down last year and also caught passes out of the slot. He is a member of the Intercom Junior Tiger program.
Moving on to the next regional site, Orange County will play host to Team Orange County, taking on the Inland Empire. For Orange County, they'll be led by head coach Darren Crawford. This year, they have a number of talented athletes in the playmaker positions. Leading off will be Coley Bowman, a wide receiver that plays extremely fast. Played for the Irvine Chargers in the regular season. 6'1", 155 pounds. He's a great sized receiver and defensive back. Can be physical if he needs to, but uses his speed well. Plays every ball in the air with a "that's mine" type of attitude. Another talented player to look out for, Jacob Jordanal. Ideal size linebacker at this stage at 5'10" and 175 pounds. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, but moves like a defensive back. He plays at a high speed and knows how to bring down the ball at its highest point. Another defensive player to take a look at will be Demario King. He's an amazing size defensive back at 6'1". He can completely erase the other team's best player if covering him. He's also a big play threat on offense when lined up as a wide receiver. Two other players to take a look at, Shakobe Harper, a running back and a linebacker that has been named the 2014 East Bay Youth All-American. This kid is as quick as they come. In a cardboard box, he could outshake a defender. Also, Cole Aubrey, a defensive end with a great motor, returns from last year's team. Ryan, Orange County certainly has weapons in the right places. Why don't you talk to us about the Inland Empire team?
Another team new to this year's field is the Inland Empire. Although we don't have too much information on an Inland Empire, we know that they are putting their team together and still scouting players within their area. They told us that they should have their team finalized within the next week or two.
I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali.
In the other game at the Orange County Regional site, Team Central Valley will be taking on Team Los Angeles. This year, Central Valley will be led by a number of players in the skill positions. Kelly Conley leads the way at running back and defensive back with amazing speed. Another running back to look out for is Bobby Mascoro. He has the ability to score anytime he touches the ball with good vision and pretty good speed. Defensively, look for Anthony Aldape, an unstoppable defensive end at 6'1", 175 pounds to make some plays. He's got sub-5.0 speed coming off the edge and comes down the line and closes in on ball carriers very quickly. Three other players to take a look at and take special note of are Marquise Brewer, a wide receiver, a linebacker, Mason Freeney at linebacker, and Eric Rico at running back, another kid that is a threat to take the ball the distance on sweeps and tosses to the outside. Ryan, that's who Central Valley's bringing this year. What's LA got locked and loaded?
Team Los Angeles is led by head coach Jason Vukobratovich. Leading the way for Los Angeles is Kevion Thibodeau. Thibodeau is a 6'5", 205-pound athlete who is an extremely talented young man with size, speed, and athletic ability to play any position on the field. Another player to keep an eye on is Darren Jones, who's a 6'6", 175-pound wide receiver free safety, who can play with the best of them. He's got a competitive spirit that cannot be matched and has the size and athletic ability to catch anything that comes his way. Finally, one other player to keep an eye on is Jamal Bell, who is a 5'9", 160-pound running back, who was Team LA's top playmaker on last year's 7th grade team. He was timed with a 4.5 40 at this year's tryout. He's a patient runner who makes quick work of the defense when he finds a seam.
The final West Regional site takes us to San Diego, where Team Las Vegas will take on Team Phoenix.
We famous, everybody's famous. When you up in Vegas, can't nobody blame us for acting famous. That's right, famous.
For Team Las Vegas, they'll be led by head coach Micah Bowen Sr. This year, they'll be led by Big Bo Taylor, an offensive and defensive lineman who's a two-time East Bay Youth All-American. He's a stud in the running and the pass game blocking. He's also a mean, big play disruptor on the defensive line. He's a tough kid with great size at 6'3" and 240. Taylor was a member of the class of 2019 Elite 101 and also made first team All-FBU Top Gun. Joining Taylor as players to watch will be Micah Bowens, a quarterback and athlete. Micah's a playmaker when the ball's in his hands. He can play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and is also dangerous in the special teams game. Another player to look at for Team Las Vegas is big Jeremiah Taze, offensive and defensive lineman who plays angry, commands a double team, and will certainly be a good player on the interior offensive line and defensive line. A couple other players to take a look at: brothers Andrew and Matthew Corley, both on the offensive line, Damian Smith, and Marcus Watkins Jr. Ryan, Las Vegas has a much deeper team than they've had in years past. But why don't you tell us what they can expect when they take on Team Phoenix?
On the hot day, sun all in your face, firebird in the sky, reppin' Aerostar Eye, home of the Sun Devils, rattlesnakes and diamondbacks, little homies love the jack, 7th Ave to be exact.
After reaching round 3 a year ago, Team Phoenix is back with a talented team. Led by head coach Bill Borkowski, Team Phoenix will be led by quarterback Jacob Conover. Conover was an East Bay Youth All-American last year. He's a pro-style quarterback who has complete command of the field and led his team to a state championship as he threw for over 1,800 yards and 25 touchdowns this season. His favorite target will be Avery Carrington, who is actually a regular season teammate of Conover's. He's a 6', 175-pound wide receiver who is extremely polished for being this young. His older brother had a great career at Stanford, and Carrington looks like he'll be following in his footsteps. Sticking on the offensive side of the ball is Javon Aquin, who is a running back / strong safety. He's a tough, physical runner who plays very hard. Another player to keep an eye on is linebacker Zach Bowers, who is also an East Bay Youth All-American this year. He is as hard of a hitter as they come on the youth level. One other player who Team Phoenix is waiting on accepting a nomination or a spot on this year's team is Davon Fountain, who is a linebacker / halfback. He's an every down type back with great power and speed, and on the defensive side of the ball, he has sideline to sideline range as a linebacker. If he joins Quinn in the backfield, they may have one of the best tandems in the whole bracket.
West Coast is back, better respect the name. It's the San Diego Chargers, feel the lightning bang, kill the hype, we reign. SB running this game, this is 619 straight, born and raised.
In the final matchup of the San Diego Regional site, the host team, Team San Diego, will take on a team that's late to the party in West Phoenix. For Team San Diego, they'll be led by Rod Williams. Leading the way will be Brendan Stadger, a 6'4", 205-pound tight end defensive end who played for the Skyline Tigers. Also, one of the standout basketball players in San Diego. Other athletes to check out will be Dayon Reynolds, a running back from the Skyline Tigers, who's big, fast, and strong, who has the ability to make big plays every time he touches the ball. Defensively, Shamar Martin from the Otay Ranch Broncos is a great player to look out for. Martin is the best shutdown corner in all of San Diego, according to the coaching staff. He has world-class speed and is actually a former national champion in sprints in youth track and field. Two other players to take a look at: Shiloh Logan, a defensive back and wide receiver from the Skyline Tigers, a talented leader on both sides of the ball. And finally, a talented linebacker to watch, Jack Drews from Rancho Bernardo. He's a leader on the defense and plays middle linebacker. He hopes to follow in the steps of his older brother, Christian, a freshman linebacker at the University of Utah. Ryan, San Diego put together a nice group of talent here. Why don't you tell us about West Phoenix?
Hard work, so we be awake. Come place your order, this boy stay. I'm so happy, so love. I'm so happy, so love. I'm so happy, so love. 'Cause beings are from TU.
West Phoenix is another new team in this year's event. They're currently evaluating players and finalizing their team and should announce their rosters within the next few days. So stay tuned for updates on West Phoenix.
So those are all 16 teams and the top players from the West bracket. Stay at youth1.com for coverage of the FBU National Championship and all things youth football. And don't forget, get in on the action yourself. Sign up for a Youth 1 player profile and get noticed today. For Ryan Lance, I'm Al Pops. I hope you're as excited as we are to enjoy the first round of the tournament.